Okay, History 111 is a huge content-driven course. It covers world history from 1500 to the present. So my task was to divide it into several themes and to subdivide the topics. I went ahead and used some of the PowerPoint lectures, not old lectures, but lectures I use every semester to present content to the students. But in this case, I did a voiceover, so the students saw the slide and heard my commentary in the background. I did that for every single one of my lectures. And then in addition, I added other content, reading, film clips, and that type of thing as well. So it was a huge project, transferring that all and breaking it down into the little component parts so that students could view it easily. Each of the lectures was a 5-minute section, so I took my normally 70-minute lecture and divided it into 5-minute chunks so students could watch it as they wished and they didn't have to get bored after 20-30 minutes as they do in class. Students have told me that they appreciate the ability to look at the lectures a couple of times and stop it and back up if they missed a point. They really like that feature of looking at the lectures online. On the other hand, what they really appreciate is when we have discussions is the ability then to get a personal feedback from the professor on something they have had to comment on. Normally, I'll ask the students to comment on something like a primary source, give a few instructions, and then they will submit a discussion online, at which point I can come back, their classmates can see it, and I can also come back and add my comments, and we sometimes get a very involved discussion going over certain topics. I think the discussion board function on the e-class or on Canvas is much more useful in creating student discussions. Every student seems to have something to say, whereas in class some students will remain quiet, the other ones will talk all the time. In this instance, every student is required to say something, and a lot of them seem to lose their shyness or hesitancy that they might have in a group. In class, there's never time to discuss a reading or a topic to this amount. In class, my lectures, my class sessions have tended to be content-driven, and so I was always under so much pressure to deliver content that sometimes we couldn't get to the next level of instruction and actually help the students master a concept or a reading. So the online discussion is a great tool for allowing the students to get deeper into a topic, and also for me to give hints and advice on how to do that without singling anybody out in particular or embarrassing anybody in front of their peers. Well, I learned several things about how I needed to improve on some areas of organization and careful instructions, how to give instructions that students can actually follow, how to follow the steps to post things correctly, and so a lot of the technique of managing the learning system software was important for me to learn. I also learned how to become much better organized in the presentation. This forced me to think about every single detail of the class and how it fit in. As a result of that organization, I was also able to really communicate to the students what the learning outcome was for every assignment. Students were very sure about what my objective was in assigning this particular task, and that helped them be more encouraged about the work they had to do. Oh, it helped me tremendously, learning to get this organized and this minute in all of these aspects improved my teaching quite a bit. I had a couple struggles adjusting to the online format. First of all was the sheer amount of work involved in doing it, especially up front, voicing over all those lectures, preparing all of these assignments. I had a great deal of assistance from the ITS faculty here. The whole team was wonderful, answered all my questions, and came right alongside me to help me do that. I think another issue I faced was confronting my own lack of organization on some things, and it certainly improved my classroom presence as a result of that. And that I just had to face. I think the third thing was just the sheer amount of work and time it took to do that, which the hold allowed me some time to do it, and it did involve some evenings and weekends. But it was very much worth it. Right now I'm doing World Civilizations as a hybrid, where students do some content outside of the classroom, some lectures, but then when we get together we're able to discuss the larger theme of the lectures or certain readings that are appropriate to the lecture. So I think that has been very good. Students actually enjoy the classroom lectures more when they get they get the variety of being able to watch some. They're also very encouraged that when I give a lecture, they know they can go home and see it again, and in case there's something they missed. So I find that I'm a lot more relaxed in the classroom, and so are they. They have a backup if they want to review something. And I also am not worried about covering all the content in the class, because I know too that if we miss the last 5 minutes of lecture, they can get it at home, and they probably will. For me, experiencing the whole program and switching to an online format has been transformational. Even in the classes I do not teach online, the organization and the skills and the ability to put a lot of things, a lot of materials on the electronic platform, it's been a great help to me and my students. The assignments are all up and ready as the semester begins. It's very, very effective for course management and organization, even if you're not teaching online. Well, I was originally skeptical about online education. I come from a department that is generally skeptical about online education, and particularly as a historian, someone in the liberal arts and in the humanities, I think it's easy to see online education as eating away the core of the liberal arts curriculum. I think my eyes were opened to the possibilities of online education, and I can see that it can be very appropriate in some circumstances. I have a great confidence in the course that the whole program helped me develop at Point Loma. I have great confidence in the quality of online education that we have produced through this program. I still can't comment on other online education systems, but I do appreciate the possibilities that online education presents. I'm very excited about implementing some of these things in all of my courses in the future.